Well, thank you, Goddess Divine, for having us in this moment. Bless this interview, bless this time together, and may this series reach the world. And Goddess Divine energy name, I pray. Amen. Ashe.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, you are tuned into Stoop Sounds Sessions. I'm extremely happy and grateful to be here as I get to sit with the phenomenal Cvgebird. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Before we get started, you down there to do a little cheers?
Absolutely.
All right.
So we're going to make sure we toast to this occasion because it is a special occasion indeed.
Yes.
I hope y'all are ready for the conversation that we are about to have. It's going to be deep. It's going to be uplifting. I'm here for it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Perfection. Thank you, Courvoisier. All right. So, Cage, I feel lucky and blessed to be in your presence, to have had the opportunity to hear you live just now. You are here and things have changed. Things have changed for the better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So before we truly get into the conversation, I'd like to give you an opportunity to speak to our listeners, your fans, your following about this transition. What's up?
This transition into Cvgebird, I used to go by Selena Cruz, my real name, for a long time. And I think during that time, I was so busy trying to fit into boxes that it took away from myself, it took away from my artistry, it took away from who I am. And I think I was too busy trying to be something I'm not. And becoming Cvgebird really felt honorable to me and myself. Be living in this world as a person of color, living in this world with incarcerated family and working with incarcerated youth as well. The book, I Know Why the Cvgebird Sings, it just would resonate in my spirit so much when I was young, and especially now. It really is how we find our joy, you know, it really is through song. So Cvgebird is kind of like uplifting those stories and uplifting, like setting your own self free and getting out of those cages because we weren't never meant to be.
Amen. That was beautiful. Beautifully said. You specifically say, what is a body but a cage to the spirit? So while you did just touch on that, I'm wondering if we can dive a little deeper.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you can think about it in the aspect of, like, I think about elderly folks. You know, I think about how the elderly, in their spirit, they still 20 years old.
Wow.
But that body, right, it might be 90, it might be 80, and not as functional as the spirit is. And, you know, this project was really in honoring of, like, Frida Kahlo and all Black and brown, like, revolutionary spirits. And when I think about Frida's story, which, to be honest, like, during this whole project, I felt like she's been right in the room with me. Just researching her, channeling her, and just trying to honor her legacy as much as possible. And, you know, she went through so much with her body, you know, from the bus accident, from being bedridden, and she lived so boldly and so effortlessly, even with all those ailments within her body, you know? So it just, reflecting on her and researching her and just thinking on myself is just like, this body is nothing really more than holding a spirit. You know, when this body goes down, my spirit doesn't die, it lives on forever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where that came from, is like, what is this body but a cage for the spirit? You know, it truly is. And no matter how, you know, you might have ailments, you might have different disease or battling different things. COVID's been heavy lately and all of that. I think it's important to remember that, like, your spirit is the most strongest and potent part. Your spirit is what gives this body the ability to be, you know? So we aren't just our bodies, you know, we are our spirits as well. Our spiritual energy is really what drives us. Yeah, you know?
Beautifully said. And my own personal mission to anyone listening and watching at home, there are other cages that you can be in. It doesn't have to just be this physical cage. If you feel as though something is holding your spirit back, I implore you to live in that spirit, do what is true to you, live in your most authentic way, and you clearly promote that as well. So for that, I'm sure there are many people grateful for you. You say in Frida Trap, this body is not your God and can only serve you for so long before being set free. My question is, are there specific moments and experiences when you have felt spiritual freedom? What is spiritual freedom to you? What does that feel like?
Spiritual freedom for me is the ultimate high, you know, and to be very specific, I'm not a religious person, but I'm definitely a very spiritual person. And I think sometimes I can just think about when I'm in my house and I'm meditating and I'm praying and I'm just, you know, giving grace to the ancestors, to my spiritual guides, you know, to the angels that are always protecting me. And I'll just get in this praise, so to speak, or just gratefulness and just in conversation, and I'll feel so high and so free, forgetting that I'm even in my body at times, you know?
So speaking of spirituality, I love that you mentioned mental health overall. I wanted to chat about spiritual strength, mental strength, and what we all went through last year. So how did you handle 2020 and the hardships that came along with it? But then also I kind of want to know your approach to 2021, having come out of 2020.
I think for me, between quarantine and then the loss of George Floyd, the loss of Ahmaud Arbery, the loss of Breonna Taylor, and so many other unnamed people that we don't know because it wasn't on camera or because there wasn't anyone around. All of those things together, it was very heavy, and I think on my spirit was very heavy. And you know, I went out and organized and protested and did some of that, but I also work with incarcerated youth. And I work in Philly, I work within systems. Like when I was in Los Angeles working with incarcerated youth, it was through different 501c3 nonprofits where you have a lot more freedom to run programming the way that it best serves the kids that we're serving.
Wonderful.
Which is, you know, a lot of our folks, you know, a lot of Black and brown people. So honestly, with everything that happened in 2020, I think I internalized it so much and it drove me more like, this is why I do the work that I do. This is why I'm in the field that I'm in. This is why, as Nina Simone said, our art needs to reflect the times and be a testament of the people, because if not, then what are we doing and why are we doing it for? And it's crazy, like, I think we mentioned before, like the songs from today, Neighborhood or Got You Down and Free to Trap, those were written years ago. You know, like, with Neighborhood or Got You Down, that happened in real life as it was happening. It was back in 2016. I was living in Los Angeles. Me and my homie, we were in my homie's neighborhood just walking down the street, and the police started to follow us. And the police started to tell us, like, you know, there's been robberies in this neighborhood, or, you know, you shouldn't, you know, just looking at us suspectfully. And, you know, that song was a freestyle on the spot back to the police. And still today, that song is so present. To the point that people think that was written today in 2020 or 2021, and Free to Trap as well. And, you know, I think it just goes to show that, unfortunately, for us right now, those songs, no matter when they were written, they're always so present. But I think the resiliency in that is knowing that our strength and our collective strength and our ancestral strength will always push us through to the point that we are completely free. You know, we will be free. We will be living in our truths without any threats. You know, like, we will have a planet just for us, you know, where we can just be ourselves. And I think 2020 just realigned me. It refueled my purpose more. It made me check on my loved ones a lot more. And it kind of brought me into 2021 in the spirit of, like, we here, and no matter what's going on in the world, this work will always continue. So happy that you are continuing it. I'm glad that that was the result of the hardships that we experienced last year. So bringing us to today, 2021, you are here. You just released Free to Trap. We are grateful for your lyricism, for your spirit through your artistry. Thank you.
What else can we expect from you this year, 2021, Cage?
Man, well, you know, music video just dropped, Free to Trap. I'm really grateful for that. I think right now it's kind of like letting that resonate. We're going to be shooting a few more visuals, getting in the studio, recording more music, and just kind of keeping it rolling. You know, my kids, you know, I'm grateful because the kids that I work with often become mentees, and to see them doing well, pursuing themselves, practicing their spiritual growth, and like just doing that work.
Beautiful.
You know, I think soon is going to be the Free to Trap tour, when it's me and my mentees, we going on tour and we freeing the trap around the world.
Wow.
That's where I see
Did
it
y'all hear them
going.
bars just now? You heard the bars? How you just talking bars? That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes,
but,
yes.
That's what I feel. That's what's been resonating in my spirit. And I think, like I said, it's just the time.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
that's definitely coming.
The time is now. The time is now for everyone watching and listening to check out Cvgebird wherever you possibly can. That is Cvgebird, only up from here. I love that.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to leave us with before we wrap up, Cage?
Yo, I'm just going to say shout out to the Stoop session, shout out to Ava, shout out to Cameron, shout out to Kenny, shout out to the whole crew that brought us down and is making this possible.
Yes.
So, thank you for uplifting the artists. Check out that Free to Trap music video, all right? And stay tuned.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. Stoop Sessions, what's up? We out here.
Free to trap. Free to trap. Free to trap. Free the real ones across the map, yeah. Free to trap. Free to trap. Free to trap. Free the real ones across the map. Free to trap.